Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Music of the Week. I have 6 albums for this one. Didn't really get a lot of stuff done over the weekend. I'm okay with that, but yeah, I got a video today to do, which is this one. So, let's make the video and talk about 6 albums. Yes. We start off with Slaughter To Prevail with their second album, Kostelum. This is the second album by the Yekaterinburg, Russia group. I think I said the capital right. And I'm giving this straight up an A. I was anticipating this album for a long time. It did not disappoint. Super heavy, really interesting dynamics on all fronts as well. I like a lot of the lyrical content that these guys spit out. Yeah, it's not different to a lot of deathcore stuff, but deathcore screaming in Russian is kind of fucking awesome, so listen to it mostly for that, I guess. But yeah, really solid production too. Great performances from everyone. Not really many complaints about it. Yeah, absolutely deserving of an A. Absolutely had a lot of fun with this. One of my favourite deathcore albums in, well, probably so far this year. So yeah, I'd recommend finding this one out and listening to it for yourself. Next up we go to another second album, and another first released since 2017. The same thing happened to Slaughter To Prevail. Spirit Breaker with their second album, Curanata. These are a group from Michigan. I couldn't find exactly where from Michigan they're from, but let's generalize it and say Detroit. And yeah, really solid metalcore, post-hardcore dynamics on this one. Really liked it. I'm giving this a B+. Not really a whole lot of complaints about this one. I feel like it does lose its way on occasion, and sometimes the builds can be a while, but for what it's worth, it's got really good lyrical content. I really like the overall sound of it too. It's got solid production, and these are still a very young band. They're not as well known as Slaughter To Prevail, and I definitely am looking forward to the next one. I just hope it doesn't take another 4 years to put it out. Look, knowing how the world's been lately, it was likely supposed to come out last year, but, you know, shit got weird last year. So, yeah, I'd recommend finding this one out for yourself as well. I had a lot of fun with it. Pretty good instrumental work, solid lyricism, good production as well, and the band all sound great. So yeah. Next up we go to a debut, Swerve with their first album, Ruin Your Day. These are a group from Los Angeles, California. Sort of a mix of stoner, grunge, and punk rock. They've got an interesting style, and it did take me a while to get into it, but that doesn't mean this album is fully horrible. Let me fix my hair for a second there. There we go. I'm giving it a B. I liked a lot of what I heard from this album. Pretty solid instrumental work all in all. The bass work on this album is phenomenal. Brandon Duncan, I almost said. The bassist Brandon Duncan does an amazing job there. The vocal layering is really good. Part of me wishes it felt more punk rocky, but the style melding is actually pretty solid for how it is. Sorry, my hands are like, I'm just playing this rubber band. But yeah, for how it works, it's got some really good shit going for it, so for a debut, really not bad. I would recommend probably finding this one out too. By the way, B is the lowest grade I give this episode. I got nothing but good things to say from here on out as well. Next we go to the only band on the list from my country of England, St. Albans' own Trash Boat, with their third album, Don't You Feel Amazing. I was looking forward to this one like all hell. Really anticipating it, and you know what? Not even going to beat around the bush. It gets an F. I'm kidding! Of course it gets an A+. I fucking love Trash Boat so much. This was a different style for them too. It's more of a post-hardcore, heavier punk, alternative rock thing that they're doing, and I'm all for it. Really love the production on this one. Everyone just brings their fucking A game. Hopeless Records is the place for Trash Boat to be. Come on. Really amazing performances. Great instrumental work. I love that there's more solos. The only complaint, the tiniest complaint I have, is that it should have ended with the title track instead of started with it, but that's literally it. Every song with this album fucking bangs. Yeah, just find Don't You Feel Amazing, because you will feel amazing after this album, after you've listened to it. It's fucking great. Everyone puts in the work. I'm really glad that they're so consistently great, and I'm looking forward to whatever they drop next, if they're able to stop this, and it can be done. You know, I have faith. Next up we have a band who have actually been around for a fair while, but I just heard this album from them, well, over the weekend. Not this weekend, gone the weekend before. Typhoid Rosie with what is technically their fourth album, Queen of Swords. These are a female-led punk rock group from Brooklyn, New York. I do like some New York musics. And yeah, really solid, really great in a lot of its areas. Another B+. Really enjoyed a lot of the factors of this. Really liked how it felt sort of a bit throwbacky to older Riot Girl acts, and considering I listened to a lot of that last year for backtracking, I'm really all for that, and I'm all for the style and like the overall aesthetic of it. Really solid instrumental work. I feel like some of the songs could have maybe been longer. Only one song out of 10 pushes past 3 minutes. There's like a couple just under, but only one actually passes that mark. And even that's not my favourite song on the album. There's still some really good shit on this album, though. Really like the lyricism. Oh, crap, my knuckle there. How they handle a lot of the topics that are tackled. You know, with like misogyny in the music videos, things like that. Solid production as well for a band who I don't really know a lot about. I think this album was self-released too, which means they did the production themselves, which means they did a damn good job. I could be wrong about that, but either way, yeah, I would recommend this one. Really solid album, really enjoyed a lot of it, and you know what? I will probably have to go back over their old stuff at some point. I really enjoyed what I heard from this. And finally for this episode, we go to Melbourne, Australia. Good Australia, mate, for the Ugly Kings with their third album, Strange Strange Times. And very unique sort of stoner rocky stuff, more in the vein of stoner rock than the mix of punk that Swerve had for their album. In fact, Swerve's was more like psychedelic compared to the Ugly Kings. And I'm giving this album also a B. Like I said, that was the lowest grade I'm giving on this episode. Much like I gave it to Swerve, I gave it to the Ugly Kings as well, sue me. So, yeah, really liked a lot of what happened here. I feel like the album does drag on a little bit on occasion. Like, it goes for... It melds the genres well, again, but, you know, it does it better than Swerve, I would argue. However, it just feels like it takes way too long to get to a certain point. And there are a lot of lyrical phrases in the choruses that repeat themselves. I'm like, you know, we get it. But still really good instrumentally. The band do amazing performance work. Got solid production as well. Like, it meshes all the sounds really together. It meshes all the sounds together, really nicely. So, yeah, not really a lot to complain about, even though I did list off a couple of nitpicks, but, you know, those are just nitpicks. While this album is not perfect, though, I'd still recommend maybe giving it a shot for yourself. And that'll about do it for this entire episode. Didn't take as long as I thought it was going to, so yeah, that's all 6 albums covered. 6, that's that many. Next thing you'll see me for, tomorrow I might be able to get the very brief history of Idols out for backtracking. The day after that, the full episode itself. I've still got to write for Ultramon, I haven't been able to do that just yet. And the next thing besides those is the go-home show for Harsh Environment tomorrow night. I still need to set up the card for that. I'm trying to sort something out with a friend at the moment for that, actually. And then hopefully, on Friday, Harsh Environment itself, the pay-per-view. The last, like, normal pay-per-view before the build-up to my version of WrestleMania Defy the Gods. I can't wait for that. That's going to be so good. But yeah, I will see you possibly tomorrow. And as always, thank you for watching. You're awesome. Bye-bye.